Our next speaker is a candidate for president from Ohio. He's running to rebuild the American dream and create an economy that works for everyone. Congressman Tim Ryan.
Thank you so much, Iowa. Good to be here. Big Ten country. My name is Tim Ryan. I'm a congressman for the last 17 years from just outside of Youngstown, Ohio. I have a wife, Andrea, who is a first grade school teacher. We got another first grade school teacher here. We have 3 kids. Mason is 16, Bella is 15, Brady is 5 years old. We have 2 dogs. One name is Bear and the other is Buckeye. Not Hawkeye, Buckeye. Let me tell you a quick story. After we got married and the house is full of kids and dogs, I was able to actually get the remote control one night and started flipping through the TV stations. And what's a guy from outside of Youngstown, Ohio do? You try to find some sports on TV. So I find a documentary on about the old basketball coach, Jimmy Valvano from North Carolina State. And Coach Valvano's given a speech, and he says, the Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us. But every day, in so many different ways, ordinary people do extraordinary things. So many different ways, ordinary people do something extraordinary. And when I think about the Democratic Party, when I think about the United States of America, when I think about the values that undergird our very system, it comes down to the fact that this country is about helping ordinary people do something extraordinary. But unfortunately, over the last few years, and actually the last few decades, we've seen the systems in the United States beat us down. The economic system, where if you work hard and you play by the rules, you still can't get ahead. The criminal justice system, where if you have too much color in your skin, you're discriminated against. An immigration system where you're ripping babies from their parents and separating them. Our systems are broken, and it has created a level of anxiety and stress in the United States that we've not seen in generations. It is time, folks, for us to heal this country, and it has to be the Democrats, and it has to be someone who can take on Donald Trump. And I will tell you, in my travels around this country, that this country is ready to heal. This country is ready to come together. But the problem is, there's a bully on the playground. And I want to make you one commitment. If you give me the nomination for the Democratic Party, I promise I will remove the bully from the playground. I want to share with you briefly what I think we need to do to heal this country. We've got to heal the economic inequality in the country. I know the president says that the stock market's up. I know the president says the unemployment rate is down. But the reality of it is 75% of the American people live paycheck to paycheck. 40 to 50% of our fellow citizens cannot withstand a $400 or $500 emergency. I will, within the first few days I'm in office, appoint a chief manufacturing officer that will report directly to me. And we will put together an economic policy where we will begin to manufacture things again here in the United States of America. I want us to dominate the electric vehicle market. I want us to dominate the battery market. I want us to dominate the charging station market. You know who dominates that market now? China. They control 40 to 50% of the electric vehicle market. My chief manufacturing officer will help us dominate the solar panel market. So we're actually putting people back to work in the United States of America to make things and actually make a good wage. I don't want the conversation coming from the Democratic Party to solely be about the fight for 15. I support 15, you support 15. But if we don't, as a party, start talking about $30, $40, $50 an hour jobs, we are missing the boat, folks. We've got to talk directly to the economic anxieties of people here in the United States. I want us to rethink the way we talk about health care. I support a public option. Health care is a right. I can't even believe we're having this conversation about people being able to access health care in the wealthiest country that God's ever created here in the United States. And we need to make sure that mental health coverage is accessible to everybody in the United States of America. But I will say, the conversation we're having is around the old health care system. It's a disease care system. It's a sick care system. We wait till everybody gets sick, and then it comes in with the pharmaceutical industry and the health companies, and they make a lot of money off of the diseases. I want to flip this system, and I want us to start talking about prevention. I want us to start talking about health. I want us to start talking about incentivizing doctors and nurses and patients to actually reap the benefits of getting and staying healthy. That's how we fix this system. Two-thirds of our healthcare costs in the United States are from chronic diseases that are largely preventable. $2 to $3 trillion a year. I want a healthcare system that directly invests into that. I want us to explore and expand using food as medicine, where literally we are reversing type 2 diabetes across the United States with small investments and interventions like food as medicine. And here in Iowa, I will be releasing in the coming weeks a robust plan on how we convert our food system and our agriculture system over to regenerative farming so we can address the climate needs by putting carbon in the soil and making sure that everybody has access to fresh, healthy foods, and we stop the flooding, we stop the climate change by having an aggressive ag policy around regenerative agriculture. I released in the last 2 weeks an education plan, and I'll give it to you in 30 seconds. The plan is this. We move from an idea of how do we get kids to score better on tests to how do we take care of our kids. If that is the focus, we will have success. And so we're going to focus on first and foremost, taking care of our teachers, not just with making sure there's loan forgiveness and tax credits, but also making sure that teachers have access to health and wellness programs, because if there's a stressed out group in America today, it's the American school teacher. And we need to make sure we take care of them. I want to make sure that there is a mental health counselor in every single school in the United States of America. I want to make sure we have wraparound services like art therapy and music therapy and play therapy for all of our kids. If we don't take on the trauma that our kids are holding in their little bodies every single day at school, if we don't take care of their trauma, we're never going to be able to get their test scores up, which is why I'm promoting social and emotional learning in every classroom in the United States of America. And what happens when we invest in the kids' social and emotional health? We have seen, with a robust investment in credited social and emotional learning programs, we have seen an 11 percentile point increase in their test scores. Closes the achievement gap. We see a 10% increase in good behavior, a 10% decrease in antisocial behavior, a 20% swing of the mood of the schools. I want maker spaces in our schools. I want infrastructure. I want new school buildings. I want access to broadband. I want our schools to reflect that our children are the number one priority. And we've got to keep talking about our kids in this country. And we've got to reform K through 12 education in the United States. And you should not have to access a good school only if you live in a good zip code or a wealthy zip code. I just want all of you to go to timryanforamerica.com. Our plans are starting to get laid out. And I want you to give me a chance in this election. Because I listened to Donald Trump for 18 months come to Ohio and promise workers a better life. And then the factories closed down. He cut taxes for the wealthy. He's gutted health care. He doesn't care about working class people, and we certainly know he doesn't care about people at the border. I'm going to end with one quick story. It's about Muhammad Ali. Someone saw Muhammad Ali in Kentucky. He was walking down the street, and they said, "Hey, champ, I saw you fight, and you got knocked down." Or he said, "Yeah, great." He said, "I saw you get knocked down in the third round." He said, "Wasn't my fight." He said, "Yeah, I got knocked down in the third round." He said, "Wasn't my fight." He said, "I saw you." Champ said, "I ain't never been knocked down. I'm either up or I'm getting up. I'm telling you all that the Democratic Party is never knocked down. We are either up or we are getting up. The progressive movement is never knocked down. It's either up or it's getting up. Our friends in labor are never knocked down. They're either up or they're getting up. America is never knocked down. We are either up or we are getting up." Thank you so much.